Yes, now everyone, welcome back to another Predicts video here on the Don's Ball Chat YouTube channel. And today we are taking on, not a guest, but we are taking on a game. We're going to be taking on Football Manager and see if they can predict games better than I can. But now that we're back from that little Easter break, the videos did stop for a while over Easter. I took a break myself, but we're back, we're refreshed. We've got a couple of videos coming out this week. And then no vlogs this week. Next week we're back on the vlogs. Brisbane are back at home. But enough with that. Let's check in on last week's scores. And would you believe it? I actually picked up a win. D-Mac only picked up 1 point for the guess. I picked up 5. I picked up a massive win for myself. A 4-point win for myself. Gets me back in touching distance of the guess, but I've still got a lot of work to do. Hopefully this week I can push on with that. If I have a look at the scores here, I am now on 66 and the guess on 73. But let's get into the predicts and let's get into seeing what Football Manager has to say with these A-League games coming up. Alright, first game of the week, we have the Wanderers taking on Brisbane Roar down at CommBank Stadium. Two of the teams that I have a close affiliation with, obviously being a Wanderers supporter myself and living in Brisbane and going to a fair few Roar games. I did go to the reverse fixture of this game earlier this season, so make sure you check out that vlog on the channel. Ended in a 2-2 draw. I think we're going to see something very similar here. Wanderers, you know, they've been in some good form in the last couple of weeks after that very shaky patch. We'll call it that. With wins over Macarthur and Perth, two very impressive wins in my opinion. Going over to Perth, Wanderers never travel well in Perth, and that's the first win that Wanderers have ever picked up in Campbelltown Stadium, so massive 2 wins there for the Wanderers. You know, Raw have been on a bit of a slip in form, really pushing themselves out of contention for finals at the moment, but I don't know, like, Wanderers are in good form, Raw are in bad form. For me, it just screams a draw. I think we're going to see something similar that we saw up in Suncorp early this season. I'm not going to go with a 2-2 draw, but I think I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this game. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what Football Manager has to say about this Western Sydney Wanderers and Brisbane Roar game. What are they going to predict for this game? They've gone with the draw as well. They've gone for a 1-1 as well. Joe Coletti gets a goal for Brisbane. Obviously, that's not going to happen this weekend. But Marcus Anderson gets a late equaliser for the Wanderers. So there we go. Football Manager has gone with a 1-1 draw as well. Alright, then we got the first of the 3 games on Saturday afternoon. First one is a massive game for Western United themselves. First game at the Tarneet Regional Footballing Facility. Obviously only the training ground at the moment, but how excited will they be to return to home, finally play their games out of Western Victoria, where they're supposed to be based. It's going to be absolutely huge for them. Should be a massive turnout, and I'm predicting them to get a win, even though they're coming up against a high-flying Macarthur. Macarthur obviously didn't get the win last weekend, but I just think that this is written in the stars for Western United to win this game and their first game out in Western Victoria. I'm going to go for, what am I thinking? I'm thinking goals. I'm thinking a really entertaining game. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for Western United in this one. Looks like Football Manager agrees with me again. They have gone for a Western United win over Macarthur in this one. 2 goals to Nazarene, but don't think that's going to be happening this weekend. But they've got a goal for Ulysses Davila, which I could definitely see for Macarthur, but ultimately they've gone for a Western United 2-1 win. Next up, we might possibly have the biggest game of the season. We have the Central Coast Mariners playing host to the Wellington Phoenix in the top of the table clash. Now, going into this game, I was originally leaning towards Wellington Phoenix winning this one, maybe scrapping out a 1-0 win or something like that in Gosford. But without Alex Rufer, I think it's going to be a completely different story. Maybe there's a chance that Central Coast Mariners win it. Maybe there's still a chance that Wellington Phoenix win it. I just think this is set up for an absolutely intense draw. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw in this game. I just don't think that they will be able to split these two teams at the moment. Alright, for that massive game between the Mariners and Wellington Phoenix, Football Manager has predicted a 2-1 win to the Mariners. They've got a red card in there as well, but they've got goals for Brian Caltech and Josh Nisbet for the Mariners. David Ball gets the scoring going very early for Wellington Phoenix, but they've got the Mariners winning 2-1 ultimately. It's a very interesting scoreline. Next up, we have the third iteration of the Melbourne Derby for this A-League season. Can't wait until hopefully two teams are added next season, and we don't have to have these third round of fixtures between clubs. But anyway, that's enough rambling for me. Hopefully this one can just provide more entertainment than the first two. They haven't been very entertaining this season, the Melbourne Derbies, but it's two teams that, you know, don't want to lose at this stage of the season. Melbourne City really trying to sneak into that 6th spot and grab a final spot. Last week's results won't help them. They'll want to pick up a win in this. Melbourne Victory won't want to slip out of that 3rd place that could see Asian football come to that 3rd place football. But it just lines up for a draw with me. I'm going to go for another 0-0 draw in this one. Unfortunately, I just don't see the goals coming in this, so 0-0 for me. Football Manager has disagreed with me once again. They're going for a Melbourne City win, surprisingly. They've got Matt Leckie getting on the score sheet for Melbourne City. They've got Ben Falami getting on the score sheet for Melbourne Victory. That'll be a very interesting game if that does come away with a 2-1 win for Melbourne Victory. Really push towards that final spot for them, and they'll be really looking for that. Next up, we have the Newcastle Jets playing host to Sydney FC. Lot of rumours and a lot of congestion going around the Jets as a club at the moment, unfortunately. Really hoping that they don't go under, and I'm really hoping that Newcastle is around for next season. One of my bucket lists to go to every A-League stadium, and that includes Newcastle Jets. I don't want to miss out on being able to go to a Newcastle Jets game. But anyway, they play Sydney FC in this game. Sydney FC, they're on a good bit of form. Obviously, drew the other night against Perth Glory, but they're without Jake Gerwood-Reich again. I think that's going to be a massive loss for them. Obviously, they held up well in the past when Gerwood-Reich was sent off, but I'm going to go for a draw in this one, actually. I think the Newcastle crowd will get around them, get around the club. I hope they do at least. And I think they're just going to be able to get them over the line for at least a point. Hopefully more for Newcastle's sake, but I think it'll be a point. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in this one. Football Manager agrees with me that the Newcastle fans will turn out for this game and push their teams towards not just 1 point. They think they're going to get all 3, with Apostolos Stamatolopoulos getting a 1-0 win for Newcastle over Sydney FC. Honestly, I can see it. I just can't see Newcastle not conceding at all. I think their defense has been a bit leaky this season, but there we go. Football Manager's gone with a 1-0 win for Newcastle United, or Newcastle Jets, however you want to call them. Last game of the week, we have Perth Glory taking on Adelaide United over in Perth. Perth getting that midweek draw against Sydney FC. And Adelaide, it's Aaron Kunda's goodbye tour. He scored a hat-trick last week. He's on some good form. Can we see him score a few more goals in this one? I think so. But I think, you know, that late show from Perth, I think that's going to come into effect again. I'm going to go with a draw once again. I've got a few draws this week, but I don't know. I think it's just getting a bit contentious towards this end of the season to really pick winners. I'm going to go for a draw, and I'm going to go for an entertaining, I think it's going to be a high-scoring draw. I'm going to go 3-3 draw in this one. Once again, Football Manager agrees with me. They have gone for a draw. They've gone for 2 very early goals, to be quite frank. Carluccio opens the goal scoring within a minute, and then Ibasuki scores within 16 minutes for Adelaide United to tie it up. It's going to be a draw in this one. They've gone for a 1-1 draw. I've gone for a 3-3 draw. Hopefully I'm right. I need the points. Let's be real. All right, there we have it. There is this week's predicts going up against Football Manager. Something a bit different. But let me know if you want to see some Football Manager content here on the channel. Make sure you drop your predictions down in the comments below, and let me know how you think we're going to get on this week. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as always for more A-League content. Until next time, I'll see you soon.